Other laws and regulations. Generic substitution. Generic substitution is the process of substituting a lower-cost generic version of a medication when a brand-name medication is prescribed. Generic substitution is often mandated by third-party payers to reduce prescription costs. The requirements for prescriptions, such as the prescriber's signing of a substitution permitted, or dispense as written, line on the prescription will also determine the conditions under which generic products can be substituted. Familiarity with the federal laws regarding the substitution of generics is expected of the pharmacy technician. Professionals with prescribing authority. There are many providers who write prescriptions, and their ability to do this is governed by individual state licensing boards. State regulations will differ with regard to who is prescribing authority and to what extent that authority can be used. It is important to recognize the different professionals who write prescriptions and understand the scopes of their practice to ensure that prescriptions are appropriate. For example, a prescription from a veterinarian, DVM, for a human should be reviewed by the pharmacist before processing. Knowledge of the designations for different providers can facilitate the pharmacy technician's evaluation of prescriber authority. Federal Privacy Act. The Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act of 1996, HIPAA, is a broad act that covers a variety of healthcare issues. A very important component of this law with regard to pharmacy practice is the component dealing with privacy. Employers are required to provide training on the specific privacy processes and procedures. Patient counseling. The act known as OBRA 90 is a federal law requiring pharmacists to keep records of all medications used by Medicaid patients. Secondly, pharmacists are required to offer to counsel all Medicaid patients about the proper use of their medications. The requirements now are generally interpreted to include all patients. Child-resistant packaging. The Consumer Product Safety Commission requires special child-resistant packaging for any household substance that may cause serious injury to children if handled, used, or ingested. Therefore, most prescriptions for oral use are to be dispensed in child-resistant containers unless patients or prescribers request otherwise. Nitroglycerin sublingual tablets are a noted exception to this rule. Nitroglycerin must be dispensed in the original, unopened container. There are other exceptions to this rule, such as medications used in institutional facilities. It is always sound practice to check any non-child resistant packaging to ensure that it complies with requirements. Role of government agencies. The FDA is responsible for approval of drugs that are deemed safe and effective for human use. Extensive testing in phases is required before drugs are FDA approved. State boards of pharmacy. Every state/district has a board of pharmacy whose job it is to protect the public. Boards of pharmacy do this by regulating safe practices and requiring registration for those practicing pharmacy. State boards often determine the scope of practice for pharmacy technicians, as well. Board inspectors will make visits to pharmacies to determine compliance with state rules. Standard-setting organizations. Organizations involved in healthcare and patient care must often meet standards set by various standard-setting organizations. Those commonly overseeing pharmacy practice include the Joint Commission, formerly JCAHO, and the National Commission for Quality Assurance, NCQA. The United States Pharmacopeia, USP, sets standards for quality, purity, strength, and consistency of quality of prescription and OTC medications and other pharmaceutical products. Manufacturer drug package labeling. Medications arrive from the supplier in the manufacturer's packaging, or stock bottles. The FDA requires all prescription medication stock bottle labels to contain the information depicted below. The brand, or trade, name. The manufacturer may use a brand name, especially for multiple source products. Not all products are given brand names. The generic name. All medications have a generic name, which is the official, or chemical, name of a product's active ingredients. Brand name medications can also be referred to by their generic names. For example, the OTC decongestant, Sudafed, also has the generic name pseudoephedrine. The medication strength. This indicates the amount of the active ingredients contained in each tablet or dose of a medication. Many medications are available in different strengths, which must be clearly visible on the label. If a product is a combination of two or more products, as is the case in this example, each ingredient and its strength must be listed on the label. The legend statement. Medications that can be dispensed only by prescription must have an Rx-only symbol or the following statement, or legend, on their labels. Caution: federal law prohibits dispensing without a prescription. For this reason, prescription-only medications are also known as legend drugs. Medications with this legend, or the Rx-only symbol, are never stocked in areas accessible to patients. Storage requirements: most, but not all, medications can be stored at room temperature. Medications should not be subjected to, or stored in, extreme hot or cold conditions, because this can cause them to break down or lose potency. Some medications require refrigeration, either from the time of manufacture or from the time they are dispensed to the patient. Insulin is refrigerated from the time it is manufactured. Other medications, such as antibiotic suspensions, need to be refrigerated only after water is added to the powder in the manufacturer's bottle at the time the medication is dispensed to the patient. Manufacturers' labels indicate how products should be stored. The package quantity: many prescription medications are available in many package sizes. The quantities of products, other than tablets and capsules, are expressed in both household and metric units. For example, 16 fluid ounces or 473 milliliters. The medication's dosage form: the dosage form is identified as tablet, capsule, topical ointment, liquid suspension, etc. The label will indicate the intended method of administration. For example, topical products will indicate for external use only. Eye products will indicate for ophthalmic use only. The manufacturer's name: the manufacturer's name must be on the label. In the case of generics, the distributor's name may also be given. The controlled substance mark: if a medication is classified as a controlled substance, manufacturers' labels must indicate this with a C in the Roman numeral classification assigned by the DEA to describe its level of control, in this case, C2. This symbol will appear in the upper right corner of the label, or the symbol may be overprinted in a contrasting color, as is the case in this example. The lot number, sometimes called a control number: this number marks medications as belonging to particular batches produced by the manufacturer. In the event that products are recalled, they are identified by this lot number. The expiration date: when manufactured, every prescription medication is given an expiration date. If only the month and year are listed, the expiration date is the last date of the month. The time period between the date of manufacture and the expiration date is the medication's shelf life. The shelf life is the period during which properly stored, unopened packages of medication can be sold, because their potency is still at its peak. Potency is not guaranteed after the expiration date. Expired medications should be removed from stock and, if possible, returned according to the pharmacy's policies and procedures. The Ndc number, the National Drug Code, Ndc number, is assigned by the manufacturer and placed on all prescription stock packages. Each package size has its own Ndc number, which gives 3 pieces of coded information about the medication. The first 5 digits identify the manufacturer. The next 4 digits identify the name, strength, and dosage form of the medication. The last 2 digits identify the package size,